and then we'll come to Zoom. Go ahead.
I guess, David, fantastic fight back from you guys today. Do you start to dare to dream that you can force your way in ahead and then sort of set them a target tomorrow?
Yeah, I think that will always be the thought in the back of people's head, but I think the one thing that we need to learn is, I think we learned that in the last series, that as soon as we think too far ahead, you open the door for them, and they're so brilliant at sort of closing that door for us. So, I think that first hour is really important for us tomorrow, and then we can start thinking about how well we can play. But we need one more good 100-run partnership to put a good score on the board, and who knows what can happen.
Just during that partnership with Joe out there, like, what was the message going through? Was it just a case of just hang around and keep going, or did you feel like it was easier getting conditions and there was a chance to sort of make some runs?
Well, I think the one thing we spoke about as a unit is that we don't want to go into our shells. If they bowl good balls, respect it, and if they bowl bad balls, make sure we still have the intent to score. I think we got away with a little bit, or I definitely did, a few drops short and so on during the game. I think the wicket's definitely changed from when we batted on it first innings. It's definitely hardened up a little bit, and there's a few more divots. But I think there's that big period now before that second new ball, and that second new ball that's going to be crucial for them, and hopefully we can counter that.
Dawid, just how much of the planning or how much planning has there been about getting these Australian fast bowlers to come in and bowl their third and fourth spells, considering they haven't played much Test cricket in maybe our last season to do that?
Yeah, I think they're in the same boat as what we are. All their big quicks coming from the World Cup, bowling 4-over spells, been in quarantine, been a bit of weather around, not being able to get a good quality warm-up game in. So I think they're in the same boat as what we are. I think we know that looking at our fast bowlers and speaking to our fast bowlers, if we could, drag it out as long as we possibly can and get them into their fourth, fifth spells, that it might be slightly easier. It's never easy playing against these guys. They're fantastic bowlers. They keep coming all day long and challenge you in different ways. But yeah, just because of the lack of game time, the longer we can drag it out, hopefully, it plays in our hands.
And you just mentioned the divots on the pitch. There are, I think, a couple in the morning. Like, are there more now? And like a couple kind of jumped at you when you're bowling from this end. Has that kind of gotten more difficult as being?
It's just got a little bit more inconsistent, I think, just with the divots. There's really big divots in the wicket. It's still coming through really nicely, but it's just slightly too paced. One ball comes quicker than the other one, and the odd one will hit the back of a divot and just bounce a little bit more. So it's just a little bit tougher to judge the bounce of the ball. But yeah, apart from that, it seems like a normal Gabba wicket. There's a little bit of turn, and I can see it turning more as the game goes on as well.
Obviously, a lot of the technology's failed in this test. Has that been much of a talking point out there? And also, I guess, with your contentious moment when you were out there, the Seagull available, obviously, hotspot seemed to show that there was no hotspot. Maybe a bit funny about that.
I didn't even know there was no snicker until that thing. I didn't hit it. I missed it by a mile. So they wouldn't have made a difference either way. In that case, there might have been a different one somewhere else, but that one was all right. I got away with that. I didn't hit that one.
Okay, we'll take some on Zoom. Rory Dollard, and then we'll go to Will McPherson. Go ahead, Rory.
David, well batted. You've had great success in T20 cricket, David. I just wondered, does this feel that much more satisfying, pitting yourself against sort of the best attack in the world for 3-4 hours and really putting in the hard yards?
Yeah, look, Test cricket's the pinnacle for me. I think you can do as well as you want in T20 cricket and 50-over cricket or whatever format, but you're judged a lot by your Test career at the end of it. So to come to Australia, which is, after India, where it turns a lot, to come on these bouncy wickets against quality fast balls, that's the test, especially for us in the Ashes series, which is the biggest series of our sort of calendar, if you want to put it that way. So to come out here and get some runs here against this really good attack is obviously satisfying, but the job isn't done yet. Just by getting an 80 doesn't mean that you've suddenly made it. It's hopefully scoring the big 100 that will potentially change the game.
Let's go to Will McPherson and Stefan Shelmett.
Hi, David. I just wanted to ask about the experience of batting with Joe today and the sort of form he's in. He's obviously had an unbelievable year, but he got duck in the first innings. Was the sense of a bit was particularly between his teeth today, and that in the match situation that he was just desperate to continue this run glut?
Yeah, look, Joe Root obviously speaks for himself with what he's done in his career. Batting with him is great. He takes the pressure off you. He always looks to score. He seems to somehow find a way of putting the pressure back on the bowlers. And his method just works everywhere he plays. So for him to carry on the form that he had in our summer and early on in the English winter has been fantastic. And it's great signs for us as a team that Joe's playing well out here and leading from the front.
Okay, Stefan, one each, then George, and then we'll go to Izzy. Go ahead, Stefan.
Hi, Dawid. Well batted. After what happened on the first day, how important was it that you and Joe batted in the way that you did today to show that England can compete and make runs in Australia?
Yeah, vitally important. The first innings was obviously a disappointment. I think we hold our hands up that we weren't good enough in that innings. Whether the wicket did a little bit or not, we're better than being bowled out for 140. So for us to come in after sort of a day and a half of hard fielding and to do what we did here today was fantastic. But that's only half the job done. We need another 250, 300 runs tomorrow to put ourselves in a good position.
George, please.
Well played, David. Did you fear that they...
George. Sorry, George. I've lost you.
Sure.
Just lost you.
Did you fear that days like this had passed you by, that they'd gone?
Oh, playing Test cricket, definitely. I thought I would never play another Test again. So I actually said to Rooty when we were in 40 or 50, we were both similar scores. I said to him that the Barmy Army was singing and what have you. And I said to him, look, I've really missed this. I've missed getting my head, or someone trying to blow my head off all the time and the crowd going and your adrenaline going and playing against the best bowlers going around. Test cricket is the pinnacle. So to be able to stand out here wearing an England shirt is, so proud to do that. And especially to do it here at the Gabba, in front of everyone. It's good fun. It's really good fun.
Thank you.
Okay, Izzy Westbury, and then we'll finish with Dean Wilson. One each, please.
Dawid, a slightly weird one. Rory Burns almost always faces the first ball when he opens batting, but today he didn't. Was that decided before he went in, or do you know why Haseeb decided to open on this occasion?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, openers share the sharing of the first ball. So whoever takes it first innings will probably not take it second innings unless someone has a real preference of it. So, that's how I see it. That's how it's always worked. Some guys really do like it and they'll be adamant they want it, and other times they share it. So it'd be interesting to see if, the other games that these guys have opened the batting together, if they've done that or not. But that's, from what I understand, that's how they usually do it, or openers usually do it.
Okay, Dean Wilson, last one, please.
Hi, David. Well batted. What was the conversation like in the dressing room after the Australian innings finished? It's one thing to kind of have such a mountain in front of you. How are you kind of trying to deal with how you're going to approach it as a batting unit?
I think we spoke this morning and making sure that we go out and express ourselves. The last thing we want to do is just be sitting ducks and go out and not score. So the chat this morning was, if we do get a chance to bat, to go out and play the way we want to play, be as positive as we need to be. If they bowl you good balls, defend it, but if they bowl you bad balls, make sure that we still have the intent to score. But there wasn't really much chat. I think, after what we did in the first innings, we almost needed to park that and put that aside, and this needed to be a fresh innings. I know it's really, probably poor of me to say that in a Test match that we started that badly and you just need to park it, but the only way forward in this Test was to actually forget what happened in that first innings, move forward and hopefully put the things in place that we've practiced so hard on in those quarantine periods, and actually put them into practice in the game. That was the key for us.
Okay, we're done. Thanks, everyone. Catch you all.